Hi everyone, this is Sunette here in this video sharing with you an example of real-time application. Now, in my personal process, interestingly enough, I have been personally mostly challenged by myself, my own mind, through sport. And sport being done in a competitive environment where you are playing competitions against your opponent or another individual. And for me, it was initially an eye-opening experience because here was me, walking into a court-like setup, and I was standing in my side, ready to get the ball ready, and I'm all excited and bubbly and friendly and let's play and let's have fun. Meanwhile, I neglected to consider that the environment is competitive and competition is the seed in the mind that grows, and I am their opponent, and they are going to play to win. Meanwhile, here's me, literally, it was like, in placing it in a visualization, it was like the other lady next to me, she become like this giant, this scary giant, and here was me, this little girl with blonde hair and pigtails and a lollipop, ready to have fun. So I started playing, and I was initially a bit shocked because the girl was just really gunning it and going for it, not looking at me, not smiling, not talking, not anything. And I was standing there like, all right, okay. It was my first time ever participating in a competition. And I mean, I've watched it before as an observer, but still, as an observer, we tend to filter out a lot more than we realize. And it's very different to observing something and actually being a part of it. And that was another lesson that I'll continue with in the next video about being an observer and participant, and how, as an observer, you filter out more than you realize. Continuing, so I realized I had a movement in me. And because she just kept on hitting the ball so hard that I didn't even have an opportunity to really play, to have a game with her, because she just kept on taking the points. Like the points were just dropping like flies on my side and like picking up on her side. And so eventually I realized, okay, this is not something I can have fun, but I am also in an environment that had become competition. So there was, from that movement, now that point right there, how to have fun while competing, I had never done in my life before, but I realized I had to do it. So that kind of started more of a movement in me, and then I went into my head thinking, how am I going to do this? I've never done this before. How am I going to have fun while I'm competing? So I said, okay. I stepped in here wanting to have fun. That was my initial intent. Did I yet have a feel for what it means to compete? So what did I do? I went into the extreme of competing. I deliberately became that. I was like, all right, you want to play competition, I'll play competition. If you can't beat them, join them. And then I started competing and being all serious and stuff and really wanting to get to the ball and prove that I can win this and I can be better. And fascinatingly enough, what I started noticing was my thoughts and my inner dialogue and experiences went into judging myself, breaking myself down, not being good enough, seeing how many things were wrong, getting angry at myself when I lost a point. It was so horrible. And I kept on also projecting emotion onto her. I said, no, this is not the competition I want to be or I want to exist in and experience and play. Now, And that was the competition that obviously existed in me on a very deep level. Because when I said, let me become competition, this is what came up in my mind. So I said, great, I need to purify competition. That's for sure. So while I was there and playing, all I focused on was purifying the competition. I was happy with my fun side, enjoying it, not being hard on myself, doing my best. But my competition side, no, I didn't like that part of me. So all I decided was that game, I'm going to focus on forgiveness. So I played in competition, and I did it a couple of games after that in real time, doing forgiveness while I'm playing, slowing down while I'm playing. In the breaks, the moments that we had, I'd drink the water, breathe, do forgiveness, get on there until I was quite satisfied that I could compete, which was bringing in some dimensions of the word fun into it, which was to push myself to see what technique she has that is making me lose points, because I need to learn then how to take those shots and hit the ball, get there faster. So my focus started changing in competition to how can I improve myself more? How can I learn from my opponent? And then when I could empower myself within competition in that way, that I bring in fun. And I started enjoying myself more. And then the word fun started changing to self-enjoyment. And I could balance it in being serious and stable when I needed to be and having a laugh. And, now I am having conversations with my opponents. I'm not anymore like... They don't seem so daunting when they've got their serious competition face on and they're really hitting that ball to win. I'm more like, okay, let's have fun in enjoying ourselves within this competition of seeing, yes, whose skills and techniques at this stage are the best and whose head is in the game a bit better. Because there's a lot of factors involved in competing. All right, so... here, everyone, an example of, a moment that I faced, both with including my process of forgiveness and real-time change. It didn't happen in one game. It happened over maybe a month or two to really make sure I get all the dimensions of the word competition. And I made sure when I purely only had fun, was it really genuine fun, or was I also a bit nervous and anxious about the competition person, becoming this giant next to me, and I was kind of more using fun as like trying to, set the mood a bit here, change it ever so slightly. So it was time that I could give myself to explore me, my mind, my programming, and not in a judgmental way, in an intriguing, curious, investigative way. So everyone, you're going to do yourself a huge favor if, you're ever in new situations and you see things coming up in you, to give yourself the time to walk a process in discovering and uncovering and getting to know you so much more better. And being in real-time situations is the best environment and platform and moment to change. I mean, I didn't play and go through everything in my head and then go home and work on myself. No, I did it right there, right then. The forgiveness, the breathing, the decision to change, all in one. And obviously, yes, I had to do some work at home with some forgivenesses that I needed to work through and work on in, the word competition, and some energies, emotional energies, that I felt I didn't release effectively in real time. So that I assisted and supported with releasing with additional self-forgiveness. But there you always kind of get to know, what is your honesty? How much more of what do you need to really change in a relationship to a point within yourself? All right, everyone. Thank you very much.